What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have for you this copper fall makeup tutorial. There's a lot of very rich, warm browns. We've got this copper color on the eyelid, and then of course this like darker matte nude lip. So if you guys want to see how I created this look, just keep watching. Okay, so before I actually jump into the tutorial, I just kind of want to show you guys the color scheme that I'm working with. And please ignore this palette. It is such a mess. I am in the process of organizing it, so it has seen better days. But we're gonna be working with these colors down here, and then also I'm gonna be working with this one. This one is actually stuck because I depotted it from the actual, like the whole container with the lid on it and everything. I depotted it so I could put it in here. I actually wanna move all of these colors into a different palette, and I don't know how I'm gonna get that off because it is stuck at the moment. But I'm gonna be working with these down here. They're very warm, very fall appropriate. First shade I'm gonna be going in with my first transition color is this one right here. This is the shade Saddle. That's like such a tongue twister, but it's this very warm brown, kind of like a terracotta shade. I'm taking this with my favorite brush, which is the Sigma E40 blending brush, and this is my favorite brush to use. I use this in every single eyeshadow look. This shade is by MAC. They have some of my favorite eyeshadow transition colors of all time. They have so many colors that you can choose from and so many different undertones. You can just custom create like your own palette with so many different shadows. I'm going to take this shade right here. This is Texture. It's also by MAC. I'm taking that same blending brush and I'm actually just going to go right over Saddle. I'm not going to stay under like I typically do when I go in with multiple colors because we're doing such a blown out smoky eye. I really like to layer on different eyeshadows. I feel like that really helps bring everything together. It really ties in the look. It makes it look very blown out, very beautiful, very smoky, and that's why I like to do this. Next, I'm going to take this color right here. This is the one I can't get out because it's stuck. This is Brown Script from MAC. It is a very red brown color, very warm red undertones, and I'm taking this with a little Sigma brush. This is the E25 blending brush. I'm not really going right into the fold of the crease. I'm just going a little more underneath those two colors that I originally laid down. And I really like this brush because it does a really good job of blending, but it's just a little bit smaller and a little more tapered, so you can really get in there and define that crease if you want to. I'm just gonna run my big fluffy brush through just to mesh everything together. I'm gonna take this shade right here. This is Swiss Chocolate, and this is also by MAC. I'm just kind of going in order of those colors that I showed you, kind of from lightest to darkest. This is literally like a chocolatey color. That's the only way I can describe it. And I'm gonna take this brush. This is a crease brush from Avon. I'm gonna use this color to really define this fold of my crease right here. What I like to do when I do a look like this is I like to look straight into my mirror and I will lay the color down. I'll kind of use this fold as my eye as a guideline so I know where to put my color. And then what I'll do is I'll open my eye and I see that I have that line that I've created and I'll go in and blend it out. And this is gonna further help define the look and make it even more intense and more smoky and blown out. Lastly, I'm taking this color right here. This is Embark, which is also by MAC. Even though this color has more purpley tones in it, it is very warm. And I like using this to define the outer V because I feel like it helps really tie in all of those like warm red colors together, especially if you're going with like a copper color on the lid like we're gonna do today. I feel like they complement each other very well. So I'm gonna take this with this flat brush right here. This is from Eco Tools. I have no idea what this brush is called because I have had it for many years, but I believe they still sell it. And I'm gonna pat it on the outer V of the eye. And I'm using this to add a little more smokiness to the look. And then what I like to do is I like to go in with this brush. This is a Morphe M433, and I'll pick up a little bit more of that color and I'll go in and kind of tap on the color, but also blend it up into the crease and into those other transition shades that I already laid down. I love doing this technique when I'm using a very deep color to pat onto the outer V. I feel like if you go in with this brush first and try to lay it down, it's gonna take you forever to build up to the intensity that you want. So I like to pack it on first and then blend it out. Okay, now the lid color I'm going to go in with is this color right here. This is from the Morphe 350 palette. Yeah, I forgot for a second. The Morphe 350 palette. It's this beautiful shimmery color right here. I know I've mentioned in a past video that I really don't reach for this palette. I don't know why. It's a good palette. It has a lot of good neutral shades that you can choose from. It's very like fall appropriate. This could quite possibly be like the ultimate fall palette. But I don't know why. I just don't reach for it. This is actually my favorite copper color to use because it's so intense. This color right here is also a very pretty color to use if you want to do something coppery. If you don't have either of those two palettes, I also have these colors to show you. These are gorgeous. This one is Coppering from MAC. This is not quite as intense as the ones from the Morphe palette. It's still very pretty though. It's like a very fiery copper color. Very, very pretty. I like this color a lot. Then I also have this pigment right here. This is from J.Cat Beauty. I accidentally ripped off the name, so I don't know the name of it, but I will list it in the description box below. I believe this is only around $2 or $3. I will say, I feel like this particular color looks a little better when it's wet. The packaging absolutely sucks ass. They need to do something better with the packaging because it really truly sucks. It's a pain to work with. This is a swatch of the J.Cat pigment dry, and this is a swatch of it wet. If you like that really intense look, I would recommend you use it wet. At least I always do. And then the last one that I have is this crushed metallic shadow from Palladio. This is in the shade Meteor. This is gorgeous. I actually am obsessed with these Palladio metallic crushed shadows. They are so freaking stunning. This one is the Palladio one right here. That was just a little tiny swatch. And then here's the other ones. I already showed you guys these, but that was just like one little swipe of my finger. I have so many of the Palladio colors. I absolutely love them and they're so affordable. I think you can only get them at Sally's, and probably I'm sure you can get them on their website. They're very inexpensive. They're only around $6 or $7. I want actually every single one because they're so pretty. Those are some options if you don't have either of these two palettes. But if you do, I like to go in with that bottom copper color I showed you from the Morphe 350 palette. I do like to wet my brush when I do this, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that. I like my lid color to pop and be as intense as possible. So I'm going to zoom you guys back in. We're going to finish off this eye. I'm just going to take my flat brush from Morphe, and then I think I mentioned this is the G20, and I'm just going to carve out that lid, and look at that. Like, that color is out of this world. So beautiful. This is why I said it's okay to be messy, because that intense copper is just going to clean that brown right up. So I'm just going to carve out my lid, and I'm just going to lightly dust this into the outer V color. I'm going to take my little Sigma brush, and I'm just going to kind of mesh those two colors together. Okay, now with this kind of look, I really don't like to do a wing because I want all that hard work to show. So I don't want to go in and cover it up with a wing. What I like to do with this is I will take any flat definer brush, and I'm going to be taking the Maybelline Blackest Black Gel Liner. I'm just going to take this and press it against my lash line. I also like to use this liner instead of the Inglot one because this one is a lot creamier. The Inglot one dries really fast and you have to work very quickly with it. This one you have a little bit of time to smudge it. And with this kind of look, I like to really smudge out the liner and make it look very sultry and smoky. I'm just going to go in with my falsies. These are the Eylure and Vegas nail lashes in Grand Glamour. And these, I think, are my favorite lashes of all time. The last thing I'm going to do on my eyes before I move on to my face is take MAC from Nylon. This is my favorite highlight shade of all time in existence. Nothing can ever replace Nylon. I'm going to take this with a little flat brush, and I'm going to go right under the arch of the brow. Okay, on to complexion. I have really been enjoying this foundation lately. This is the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation. I didn't like this at first, but I actually had the wrong color. It was really, really pink on me, and I had a hard time with this lasting all day on my skin because I'm so oily. It's actually been pretty chilly for once. This has actually been working out really well for me, and I got a new shade. This is in the shade Golden Beige, and it is more of a olive undertone, so it matches me way, way better than the other one I had. The other one I had was way too pink. I'm just going to use this all over the face. This is my beauty sponge from L'Oreal. I really like this foundation because it looks very skin-like. I've been really liking that lately instead of more of a matte foundation. This is the Nars Soft Matte Complete Concealer. I got these samples with an online order about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago. I've actually been using this every single day and these are still going strong. I have Custard Medium 1 and Vanilla Light 2. This stuff is so full coverage. The medium one is very peachy, so I like to put this right at my under eye circles. This helps counteract all that darkness under there. Then I'll take Vanilla and I'll put that down here underneath to highlight. And I have just been loving this concealer. I love it so much. It's so full coverage. It gives your under eye that like smooth matte finish. I love that look. The only thing is I wish that it didn't crease because it does crease a bit on me. Even when I bake, my Tarte Shape Tape doesn't do that, but I have just been using Shape Tape so much, I'm like, I need to start using something else. I still have a lot left in that sample, but I think I'm actually going to get the full-size one whenever I run out because I really do like that concealer a lot. I always take my concealer up into the corner of my eye because I have a lot of darkness up in there and I don't want anything to show through and ruin all this hard work we just did on the eyes. With what I have left over, I'll just dab it onto my chin. I'll also take a little bit onto the nose. To go in and set my under eyes, I'm going to go in with Emphasize. This is MAC Emphasize and Anastasia Banana. Emphasize is really bright and Banana is very yellow. So they really balance each other out and they give you that beautiful bright under eye effect. And I love that look. Then I'm just going to go in with my favorite powder. This is still my favorite at the moment. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder, and I have the shade Fair Light. I mentioned this in my highlight and contour video. This is a very lightweight powder. It makes your skin look absolutely poreless and perfect. I got one of the lighter shades. The next shade after this was way too dark. It looked very like orangey in the container. So I opted to go for this one, even though it is way lighter than my complexion, but I like this color because it is almost translucent. It just hardly has any color to it whatsoever. And this is literally $5. I have not used anything else since I got this. We are going to bring a little bit of dimension back to the face. I'm going to be using this Laura Mercier bronzer. This is in the shade Bronze number 4. This kind of reminds me of the Makeup Forever bronzer, the Pro Bronze Fusion. And I like it because this looks very much like skin. It's not too shimmery. I like a nice shimmery bronzer, but once it comes fall, I really like to just use more of like a satin or a skin-like finish bronzer. I don't want all that shimmer because I don't really want to be a glowing goddess anymore. Not that I am a glowing goddess anyways, but you know, I'm just not really going for that look. And then I always take my bronzer down onto my chest so I don't look like a floating head. And then we're going to go in and contour. I'm going to be taking Kat Von D Sombre and I'm going to mix this with a little bit of Sculpt from the NYX contour kit. I don't have the full set. I just buy the little singles and I like to stick them in my Z palette. I don't use all the shades in the contour kits. They usually just go to waste. I put them in my professional kit and I use them on clients. But for my personal self, I don't really like to buy the whole kit. It's just a waste of money for me. So I really like to buy the singles. And then I like to make my own palettes, actually. I think that's going to be one of my videos coming up. How to create your own Z palette. And maybe I'll go over my Z palettes and the ones that I've created.
That's what I got. A little snacky poo for my patty poo.
Is that a watermelon slushie?
It is a watermelon slushie.
You love me?
I do love you.
Or do you just want to profess your love in the video?
Oh, I know.
I was having a really bad day today. Let's hit the spot. You guys, watermelon slushies are life. I just zoomed in a little more. I felt like I was too zoomed out. Next, to finish off with blush, I'm going to be taking this one from Becca. This is actually my favorite blush ever. It's so pretty. It's called Blush Copper. I'm taking this with my MAC blush brush. It's super pigmented. You don't want to overdo this because it can definitely make you look very rosy. It looks so beautiful, especially with this eye look. I feel like it ties the eyeshadow in together. I'm just going to blend everything out with my fluffy brush. And then we're gonna move on to highlighting, which is, of course, the best part of the whole video, right? And I'm gonna take Opal by Becca. This is like an OG highlight. I haven't used this in a really long time. I used to love this back in the day. I got this for my birthday like 2 or 3 years ago. This is when I first started getting into highlighting. I use this every single day. I'm actually like about to hit pan on this because that's how much I've used it. Kind of just discovered like other highlights and I put this away for a little bit. I just thought, I haven't used that in forever. Let me pick it up and use it again. And like I fell in love with it all over again. I forgot how much I loved it. I've been actually highlighting my chin. I used to not do this, but I've really been liking it lately. We are gonna do the little tip of the nosy, bring it down the bridge, and hit that top lip very lightly. Then I'm just going to settle all that powder with my Rosewater spray from Badescu. I love that spray. Okay, now to finish off the lower lash line, I'm just gonna take this E17 brush. This is from Morphe, and I'm gonna mix Swiss chocolate and texture together. I swear that is like the worst tongue twister ever. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of each shadow on my brush, and I'm gonna start to smoke out this lower lash line. I'm going to take Embark on this little angled brush. I'm going to press this right up against the lower lash line just to add a little more smokiness. I want a little more depth. And then I'm going to go back in with this brush and blend it all together. I also like to take the corner of my lower lash line and connect it up into the outer V. I like the way that that looks. It makes it look very smoky and sultry. For the inner corner, I'm going to take this shade right here. I'm just going to dab it on with this little tiny brush that I got from Eco Tools. This is also really old. Taking my favorite mascara ever, the L'Oreal Luminous. I am going to go in with a nude color for the lips because I want the eyes to really stand out and I want them to pop. So I'm going in with this one. I talked about this in my last video. This is by Makeup Forever and it's the Artist Liquid Matte in the number 107. That is the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this look. This is my favorite look to do in the fall. Let me know what you guys want to see. Leave me any comments below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel before you leave. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.